Implementation overview for the Microsoft Reading Progress. How do we set up the evaluation in your school? We ask you to identify two similar ability classes in the same year group. Using the What Work wizard, you then assign one to the intervention and one to the control. Both groups complete a pre-assessment reading task inside Microsoft Reading Progress. The intervention group continues to use Reading Progress for the duration of the trial for 6 to 8 weeks, and the control class just continues as normal. And then both groups complete a post-assessment reading task, which is the same one that was set earlier for the pre. And then the control class can then access Microsoft Reading Progress. This allows you to create a comparator group within your school to actually find out how the intervention has worked. So let's look at the planning. Step 1. Identify two similar ability key stage classes to participate in the evaluation from the same year group. Identify a text that you will use as the pre- and post-assessment task on Reading Progress. Please note this task must be challenging for the students to complete because if the students complete this for a pre-assessment and they score very high, then it will be really hard for the system to detect any effect sizes. So generally what we ask you to do is to set a reading task to actually get a few students to test it who are not involved in the evaluation. And you're really looking for something which is around 80%, which is a really challenging task rather than something which is in the high 90s for accuracy. So the advice that we give you just on this is just to make sure that the task that you set for your pre and post assessment measure, if you could test it with a few students who are not involved in the trial, just to make sure that they're not maxing out on this, then that will be appreciated. And then step 3, using the trial wizard on the What Work Teacher platform, you randomly assign a class to the intervention and the control. So implementation. So step 4 is you assign the pre-assessment reading task to both the intervention and control group. You then record the data for the accuracy score in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder, and then input this into the pre-assessment area of the trial wizard. For the intervention class, assign weekly reading tasks using Reading Progress and monitor the usage. The control class will continue as business as usual for the duration of the trial. And then at the end of the trial, you basically assign the post-assessment reading task, which is the same as the pre, to both the intervention and the control group, record the data for the accuracy score in the Excel tracker, and then input this into the post-assessment on the trial wizard. You then complete a short process evaluation survey and then click Analyze, and then the system will generate an impact report for your school. In the resource folder, we include a tracking spreadsheet which has an anonymized student ID, which allows you to link that to a student name for your classes. You will see that it has a control intervention class, and then this just means that we have no personal identifying information entering our platform from your school. So key considerations. When looking at implementing Reading Progress, it's important to consider the key things such as the time. For example, how much will you expect the learners to use Reading Progress for? Intensity, will this be set at once or twice a week? Location, is this set as a homework or is it set in a specific lesson time? If it is set for homework, can all students access Reading Progress, or is additional facilities in school available for them to access this? Reminders, it's really important that during the duration of the trial that students who are in the intervention group try to complete as many Reading Progress tasks as you assign. So just giving gentle reminders for the students to complete this, this will be appreciated. And then resources. If this is delivered in school, are the IT resources available for the learners? Logistical barriers are common in any intervention that's delivered in schools, so it's just important to consider these prior to starting. So the assessment. The outcome measure is attainment as defined by the accuracy score identified on an assessment reading task and Reading Progress. For the assessment task, please select a challenging text for your student to complete. As I explained earlier, we don't want the students completing the pre-assessment task and being able to score a very high accuracy rate. The text needs to be challenging in order for the trial to work. As both the control and intervention groups receive the same assessment, familiarity with this will not bias the effect size. And just a few bits of guidance is you can complete the assessment as either homework or in school time. Ensure the assessment read task is challenging. I think that's been made a few points on that. And then just make sure you record your pre and post assessment scores on your tracking spreadsheet. And then add the anonymized data to the What Worked platform for you to produce your impact report. So the next steps is to download the research protocol, download the resource folder, and then to start your trial wizard, which will allow you to put in your start and end dates for your trial.